Imagine being told you were receiving free medical care for bad blood, only to discover, decades later, that doctors deliberately let a deadly disease consume you and your family, while the cure sat on pharmacy shelves. In 1932, in Macon County, Alabama, nearly 400 black men with syphilis were enrolled in what the U.S. Public Health Service called a study of the natural history of untreated syphilis. They were never told they had the disease. They were never offered penicillin after it became the standard cure in the late 1940s. The study ran for 40 years, until 1972. This is not conspiracy. This is documented history from U.S. government records, CDC archives, and primary sources released by the National Archives. The object that haunts this story is a simple medical chart, pages that tracked suffering as scientific data. Today, those charts sit in digitized archives, their meaning changed forever. If you believe governments and doctors must protect the vulnerable, keep watching. This one will test that belief. Like and subscribe for more meticulously researched stories that history tried to bury. The United States in 1932 was gripped by the Great Depression. In rural Macon County, Alabama, poverty was crushing. Many sharecroppers, primarily African American, had limited access to health care. Syphilis rates were high in the South, part of a broader public health crisis. The U.S. Public Health Service, PHS, working with Tuskegee Institute, now Tuskegee University, launched the study to observe how untreated syphilis progressed in black men. Researchers recruited 600 participants, 399% with syphilis and 201 without as controls. They were promised free exams, meals, and burial insurance. At the time, syphilis treatment was limited and toxic, arsenic-based drugs with severe side effects. Doctors justified the study as filling a gap in knowledge about the disease in black populations, influenced by prevailing racial medical theories that have since been thoroughly discredited. No informed consent was obtained. Participants were told they had bad blood, a vague local term for various ailments. The study was initially planned for 6 months, but extended indefinitely. Archival records show it became a long-term observation project. The hidden truth was not that the study existed. Some early findings were published in medical journals like JAMA in 1936. The horror was the deliberate deception and denial of care. By the early 1940s, penicillin emerged as a safe, effective cure. By 1947, it was the standard treatment. Public health service officials knew this, but actively prevented participants from receiving it. They blocked men from draft boards offering treatment and withheld information from local doctors. The study continued to track the disease's progression: heart damage, neurological deterioration, blindness, and death. Wives and children were infected. Official estimates indicate at least 128 participants died directly from syphilis complications. Declassified documents and the 1973 Ad Hoc Advisory Panel report confirmed the study was ethically unjustified, with risks far outweighing meager scientific gains. Before the full weight of the betrayal became public, the men lived with false hope. They received occasional checkups, aspirin for pain, and the illusion of care. Many had never seen a doctor before. America fought World War II, then the Cold War. Medical ethics evolved with the Nuremberg Code in 1947, emphasizing informed consent after Nazi experiments. Yet the Tuskegee study continued, untouched. Locally, participants spoke of the government study. Nationally, it remained largely unknown outside specialized medical circles. The anchoring medical charts grew thicker with data on untreated progression. Each entry a record of lives measured, not saved. In the late 1960s, PHS venereal disease investigator Peter Buxton learned of the study and raised ethical concerns internally. His warnings were ignored. In 1972, Buxton leaked documents to the Associated Press. On November 16, 1972, the story broke on front pages. Public outrage exploded. The study was immediately halted on November 16, 1972, following an advisory panel recommendation. The breaking point exposed how systemic racism and bureaucratic inertia allowed the experiment to persist for 4 decades. Mid-video. If this history of hidden medical betrayal hits hard, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We uncover more verified stories that shaped trust in institutions. Controversy followed. Some defenders in the era argued it produced data on syphilis progression unavailable elsewhere. Critics, backed by the official panel, condemned the lack of consent and withheld treatment as indefensible. The study was not entirely secret. Partial reports existed, but the full ethical scope and continuation after penicillin were downplayed or unknown to the public. It became overshadowed by broader civil rights struggles, yet symbolized medical mistrust. Questions remain about full accountability. No researchers faced criminal charges. A 1974 lawsuit resulted in a settlement, but the damage to community trust persists, documented in health disparity studies. The impossible was maintaining the deception across administrations, wars, and medical revolutions. Researchers tracked men through spinal taps, X-rays, and autopsies, all while denying curative care available to others. One moment of unexpected humanity. In the records and survivor accounts, some health workers expressed private discomfort. Yet duty to the protocol, career pressure, and institutional culture silenced dissent until Buxton acted. A documented letter from a participant or family later revealed the quiet fear and confusion as symptoms worsened without explanation. By termination, the medical charts, our anchoring object, transformed from tools of science into evidence of betrayal. Over 40 years, the study violated the very principles of the Hippocratic Oath it claimed to serve. Primary sources, including National Archives files, detail the progression: men losing mobility, vision, and life, their suffering reduced to data points. The government eventually established the Tuskegee Health Benefit Program for survivors, wives, widows, and children. Ongoing acknowledgement of harm. The 1972 exposure led to the National Research Act of 1974 and the creation of institutional review boards for human subjects' protection. It influenced modern bioethics standards. The last study participant died in 2004, the last widow in 2009. Descendants continue receiving benefits. President Bill Clinton issued a formal apology in 1997. Its legacy is a cautionary chapter in medical ethics and racial injustice, cited in discussions of public health trust. The charts now serve as historical evidence in archives, their meaning shifted to symbols of accountability. What happens when the institutions meant to heal become instruments of harm? The Tuskegee study, verified through CDC records, National Archives documents, and official reports, forces us to confront how secrecy and power can erode humanity. Comment below. Could this happen again today? What verified historical secret shocked you most? Share responsibly. If you value fact-based stories that honor the human cost of history, subscribe, like, and comment your thoughts. Hit the bell. We have more coming. Truth, no matter how heavy, must be told.